Here we're going to solve some more first degree inequalities. The first one, part A, is 8 minus 4 parenthesis 2 minus x parenthesis is less than or equal to negative 2x. Okay, the first thing we need to do is get rid of fractions, but there's no fractions. So we're going to get rid of the parentheses by distributing multiplication by negative 4. We get 8 minus 8 plus 4x and bring down the other side less than or equal to negative 2. Now, we are going to combine the 8's on the left, and the 8 minus 8 gives you 0. So all we have remaining on the left is 4x less than or equal to, on the right, negative 2x. Now notice that you cannot divide both sides of this equation by x. That seems like the next thing we'd want to do. But you cannot do that because we don't know that x might be equal to 0. If it is, we'd be in trouble because we're not allowed to divide by 0. So let's just leave that alone and try a different approach. Instead of dividing both sides by x, we're going to gather all the x's together on one side by adding 2x to both sides. That's the process for a first degree equation like this. 6x is less than or equal to 0. So now you eliminate the coefficient 6 by dividing both sides by 6. What is 0 divided by 6? It's 0. 0 divided by any non-zero number is 0. So cancel the 6 on the left and we get x less than or equal to 0. You'll notice we didn't have to flip the inequality sign because we never once multiplied or divided by a negative number. Now, here's our answer. All the x values that are less than or equal to 0. Now let's write our answer in the three notations: set, interval, and graph notation. Set notation, curly bracket, all real numbers x, such that x is less than or equal to 0. Interval notation, well, what's the smallest value listed for all x values less than or equal to 0? Negative infinity. So negative infinity with an open round bracket, comma, and the largest value is 0. That gets a boxy bracket because there's an equal portion in the inequality sign. And finally, the graph notation, we're going to shade everything from negative infinity back out to 0 on the right, and we're going to put a boxy bracket on the 0 since we have an equal portion in the inequality, and an arrow on the other end because it goes all the way out towards negative infinity. Okay, let's try another one. Let's solve this first degree equation. X divided by 3 is greater than or equal to 2 plus x divided by 6. Okay, the first thing we'll do here is eliminate the fractions by multiplying both sides by the least common denominator, the LCD. That's 6. Okay, so multiply the term on the left by 6 and bring down the greater than or equal to sign. Now there are two terms on the right. They're separated by the plus sign. Remember, terms are separated by plus or minus signs. So we're going to distribute the multiplication by the LCD 6 to each of these terms. Multiply both of them by 6. Now, for each of the terms, simplify the fractions by canceling common factors on the top and bottom. And we'll have 2x, bring down greater than or equal to 6 times 2 is 12, plus, cancel the 6's on the right, we get x. Okay, let's gather all the x's together by subtracting x from both sides. 2x minus x is x, bring down greater than or equal to, bring down the 12. Okay, so that means the set notation is curly set bracket, all real numbers x, such that x is greater than or equal to 12. Close your curly set bracket. The next would be graph form. I wrote interval, but I meant graph. Graph form is where you shade the graph, everything greater than or equal to 12. And the last one should be the interval form, so that's the wrong word. The interval form is boxy bracket, smallest number is 12, comma, largest number is infinity, round bracket for infinity. So I noted after I did it, I made the mistake. Oops, that one in the middle should be called graph notation, and the one on the bottom should be called interval notation.